What you just saw was augmented reality in action, and it's about to change the world. You see, augmented reality is kind of similar to virtual reality in that it allows you to manipulate different realities using different technologies, and they're both under the extended reality umbrella. But the difference is that while virtual reality allows you to place users inside of the virtual world with headsets like the HTC Vive or the Oculus Rift, augmented reality allows you to place virtual objects on top of the real world. And it doesn't need those big clunky headsets. You can run it on a smartphone or a tablet. And this allows this technology to be used for so many different things. In fact, this technology is expected to grow by 24.4% every year. And that statistic is from Forbes. So this technology could be used not only for things like the automotive industry, where you could take 3D models and place them on top of other things using augmented reality, or the medical field, where you could take patient information and display it while you're performing surgery, or simple diagnostics. Things like the retail industry, where you could see product information in augmented reality, or different coupons or promotions that may apply just by tapping on the product. It could also be used for things like construction and renovation applications, where you can place different furniture items or maybe massive buildings in big cities on top of the real world so you can see how they would actually apply. And this is what I decided to build. That video you saw earlier was a demo that I built using Unity and ARCore. Now, Unity is the biggest game engine used for virtual and augmented reality because of its massive support for augmented reality and virtual reality development kits. Now, the development kit that I decided to go for was ARCore, simply because of its support for Android and iOS, whereas something like ARKit is only useful for iOS applications. So the scripting language I chose to go with was C# because that's native to Unity. So all the scripting we'll be doing is going to be in C#. Now, the first step was plane detection. So anytime you open up an augmented reality application, it needs to detect a plane in order to place the objects onto. So luckily, ARCore has a built-in script called Detected Plane Visualizer. And what this allows you to do is detect any flat surface and call it a plane. Now, the issue is that it doesn't actually show these planes in a grid, and it doesn't actually allow you to view them or update them as you walk around. So it may detect the planes here, but the grid won't update when you walk over there. So I had to write a new script that would actually allow you to update these planes and put them on top of a grid every time you walked around, so it would update each time. Now, the next step was actually allowing touch support, because you can't actually touch the screen natively. So in order to do that, I had to write another script in order to allow it to natively touch objects onto the screen and place those objects down. But then the issue came up where if you try to place a couch down, it would go at a 90-degree angle or go lopsided and go in a bunch of different places. And that's not how we want it. So I wrote another part of the script that would actually allow it to face you at all times. So the X and Y axes would actually be constrained to the user. So when this is done, we actually need to import assets for you to use. Now, to do this, I opened up the Unity Assets Store and allowed you to choose different assets, any assets that you need, and it would constrain to that grid. So the assets that I decided to go with were simple living room assets, like a couch or a coffee table, just simple things that you might find in your everyday lives. If you're going to IKEA, you might want to buy these things, so it's really useful for every day. And once you import these assets, the application is done, you have a demo ready to go. But this could be scaled much bigger than that, because just by importing different assets, you could have multiple massive construction projects in a city just by running it on a more powerful device. And this could allow for way more potential. And that's the biggest thing about this technology, is that it's scalable. You don't necessarily have to create Pokemon Go, and you don't necessarily have to create these massive construction projects. You could be anywhere on that spectrum. And what this allows for is a technology that will not only impact massive industries, not only impact small gaming industries on the App Store, but it'll impact your everyday lives. Thank you.